So today's deck is the new version of Sparkblade, as brought to you by Luis Scott Vargas in this most recent week's article. He introduced it on, I believe, the 7th of March. So the idea here is that the old Sparkblade was playing blue-white control cards that it really didn't need to play. It was just holding them over from the last version. So the idea here is that you gut out a lot of the cards that were in the old version just because they're ported over from blue-white control. So now you have an even more aggressive style deck. You have the ability to fit 3 Spark Mages main board, as well as 2 Arc Trails. And this is making up for the Day of Judgments that used to be in here. The idea here is that Day of Judgment, while a good card, often slowed you down as well in your quest to deal them 20 damage. So it foregoes any mass removal in the main deck to just beat your opponent down and get your Spark Mage Collar combo active. It drops 1 Gideon because he's on the high end of the curve there, and the deck's willing to play a little bit faster game. It dropped down to 26 lands and changed up the mana base a little bit because you do not need as much double white as you used to. Telemagnet is a card that he suggested in the main board. It's effective against your opponent's swords. It's effective against some Titans sometimes, depending on which version and what you need. But the idea is that it buys you some time, or lets you get in a few turns faster. So it's removal you can play without having the target to remove right then. Just play that out when you have extra mana, and whenever they play, it's going to be tapped down for the next few turns. Let's see here. So the deck has 5 counterspells as usual. 2 mana Elixir, 3 Spell Pierce, 3 Lightning Bolts, which are augmented now by the Arc Trails and the Spark Mages. The Basilisk Collar combo, and the Sword of Feast and Famine. It does not have a Body and Mind main board. 4 Jaces is the only card you need double blue for in the main deck. And the Squadron Hawks and the Stoneforge Mystics. In the sideboard, we have an interesting spicy number here. We have 1 Divine Offering. The idea is that Divine Offering, when you're playing it, if you have too many copies, you can actually just have too many answers and not enough threats of your own. So it's just down to 1 copy here. The 1 copy is mainly for Boros, though you can bring it in against other mirror matches. It's most effective against Boros because it gets rid of Bone Horde, which is a real problem for the deck to deal with, which is a real problem for our deck to deal with. There's an extra Spark Mage in the board, a Pride to bring it against Valakut, Flash Freezes against Valakut, and more counter spells against other decks than Valakut. Inferno Titan's very nice in the deck. This was in the main board, but he decided to switch it out for the Telemagnet and put it in the sideboard, so that's nice there. Pyroclasm against other decks like Elves or the sort that are trying to do more things to small creatures than you are. Sword of Body and Mind as an extra target for your Stoneforge Mystics if you board out the Spark Mage Collar combo. Twisted Image is there as a special card. It's really nice against certain creatures in the format, such as Step Links. If they don't have a land to crack in response to the Twisted Image, you destroy target Step Links and draw a card. It also kills Overgrown Battlement from Valakut, and a few other cards with 0 toughness just die to Twisted Image. But for the most part, it's not the greatest. You can use it with some shenanigans with Stoneforge Mystic to make it 2 power. If your opponent's playing with Hero of Oxid Ridge, you can turn your Stoneforge Mystic into a 2/1 and block the Hero of Oxid Ridge. But for the most part, I'm not sure if this is going to stay in here. It's been just a techie card for the most part. But there you have the deck there. It's really nice, really fast now. Less forgiving. If your opponent does get stuff into play that's really huge and you don't have a Spark Mage Collar combo assembled, you're just going to have problems. The deck is asking a lot more skill from you now. Asking a lot more speed from you now. You want to get games over faster, but you have the tools now. Arc Trail is just a beating against other aggro decks like vampires and such. But for the most part, I really like this deck. So I'll talk to y'all later.